So you have to list out all your favorite games.
Hundreds a lot you thought, but there's no room to waste.
Even if you ponder it so very long, someone on the internet will tell you you're wrong. Top 100 games from the A-Team. Top 100 games. Watch us on live stream. Top 100 games. You'll enjoy it too.
You're gonna clap or not? I was waiting, like,
Wendy told me that the clapping was too loud and peaking the mic, so I was being more calm this time.
Welcome to the Dice Tower. We are the A-Team, and here today to do our top 100 games of all time, 80 through 71. I am Camilla Cleghorn.
I'm Chris Yi.
I'm Roy Cannaday.
And I'm Wendy Yi.
Oh, the clapping again.
Sorry.
You start bringing out some drumsticks and like tapping on the table.
I don't play by the rules.
I'm really excited about my list today, guys. I was looking through it earlier, and I think this might be the prettiest chunk. Like, I have a lot of really pretty games today.
Okay.
So I'm super excited.
It's almost a top 10 list in itself, just pretty good.
Right, yeah, I think. I didn't make it all the way through, but I'm really excited about it.
So what I'm hearing is Camilla peaks here, and then
I want to say
else
there's
is
no
worse.
beige.
I am proud
Today.
of you.
I mean, really, I just hope you're excited about all your
If there was a week
I am,
where
no, I'm not
Chris
saying
doesn't have
that's
any
not good,
beige,
but-
I would be like, what?
Ooh,
Okay,
how much beige do I have?
got beige. I got beige for days, but I think there's going to be a pick on here that pretty much. Yeah, I think everyone's going to like.
I only have
your
one
games,
beige.
Okay.
Are your games going to suck the color out of Camilla's games?
Oh,
That's true. Yeah.
Between the two of us, are
they're
we
that
like
beige.
baseline
You're
zero?
balancing.
Yeah, right.
So I compared my list to the top 100 I did 4 years ago. There's only one game on here out of all 10 of these that was on the list a few years back.
Oh, wow.
And I thought that there was a second one, and I looked at the list and
And
like,
you were
where
wrong.
is this game? And I realized it's just one that's just kind of grown on me over
Do you think
time.
your tastes have just changed that much over time, or do you think that...
My next 10, almost all of them were there 4 years ago.
Gotcha.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Wow.
So like you can just see here like
No.
Blank.
Oh!
He covered it all up.
what power I have.
It's like opening the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
It just melts.
All right, well, let's jump right in with number 80.
All right, so kicking it off with number 80. This is not the beige game on the list here. My number 80 is one that was mentioned. No, that's what it was. You had said King of Tokyo.
I did.
And I was thinking of this game. My number 80 is Dice Throne. This is my favorite battle Yahtzee game. You know, the roll dice 3 times. I have pictures up there specifically of Marvel Dice Throne. That might be my favorite collection of all the Dice Throne characters. This is a game you roll dice and you're trying to make straights or combos of the different symbols on there according to whatever your character's special powers are. Smash the other person, and you also have some ability cards. This is one of those games that is a little bit out of my wheelhouse. I don't typically like the sit-down head-to-head dueler kind of games. But I think this one's silly enough, fun enough. I like the dice mitigation, the control that you have. I like all the different characters too. So this is my favorite little like kind of battler. I think this is the highest actually like the head-to-head battler game on my list.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty
That
sure.
would make sense. Yeah, 'cause like you said, that's not
Yeah.
really your wheelhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so.
So yeah, Mike had chosen this one, so he is more correct than you, according to
This
his
is
top 100.
not on this chunk of my list.
Look how pretty that cover is, though.
That is a
That's
striking
very
cover. I
very,
am
very
really proud
pretty.
of you for that cover. Well done.
Outside of your wheelhouse,
your head.
I
indeed.
think the whole light spectrum's on there.
Yes. Well done.
Yes.
Awesome.
A whole multiverse, one might say. My number 80?
One might.
Straight up
Dice
madness.
Throne. Marvel Dice Throne in particular.
All right, well, kicking off this pretty chunk of my list is for number 80 is Aquatica. Aquatica is a card game, card-based game where you are trying to, you have this location board in front of you, and you're out there drafting different locations and different cards in order to put in your location that is going to have special abilities on them. Ultimately, to raise those cards all the way up, maybe using the special actions, but then to actually score those cards or those locations at the end of the game. So kind of has some drafting, kind of has, I really like the decision base in this. You know, am I going to get my hand bigger, you know, so I have more powers to play, or am I just going to go right for locations? It's made really, really well with the expansion as well, the Cold Waters expansion. I think then you can get some really interesting king powers as well in there. So yeah, Aquatica is a really fun and absolutely gorgeous card-based game.
Do not disagree.
Good engine building in it.
Like it. Yes, I think that's called the
Yeah.
combos that you can get. Like, oh, I'm going to use this location for this one coin, which will then couple with this one, couple with this manatee, couple with, talking about
I would never do such a thing. I would never do such a thing.
Roy over here, the king of comboing.
I'm like, ooh,
Yeah,
I'll do
it's
this, I'll do
insane.
this, and Roy takes a turn. He's like, he's like a DJ over there
He is.
scratching.
Oh, yeah.
Pick this back up and then replay.
He is.
I'm just
Yes.
glad that a game that we played together actually made your list, because normally I think that just drags them down.
Hey, I played this with you too.
I have accepted that if I play against Roy, I will be demolished in everything.
You haven't played against Wendy yet, then.
Roy's brain is bigger. Just saying.
No.
We had this
We're back on
conversation
that
last
thing.
time.
Awesome. So my number 80 is Aquatica.
That's great. All right, my number 80 is another. I mean, it's kind of combo-y, a little bit going on, not to the same extent, but it is Majesty for the Realm. I feel like this one is just underloved. This came out after Splendor, and it was supposed to be kind of like the next game, and I don't know, no one really picked up on it. But I love this game. So you have your little player mat in front of you, and you're essentially bringing people into your town, and you want to be the ruler by having the best town. Something like that. Theme is pasted on. But it's very cool because you're basically collecting these workers where you can pay for the higher ones, very Century Spice Road, if you want to get farther up the line. But the way that they work is that everything in front of you kind of triggers other stuff and it scores on itself. So if you build a military person, that's really cool. You can attack someone else and get rid of their lowest card. Or you can build up your defenses so that if someone attacks you, that doesn't happen. But if you don't want to focus on those, you can also do stuff like your fork and knife person. What do you call that? A chef? I guess your chef person. You can then, they score based on how many chef people you have and military people that you have. And so it just like increases and does lots of things. And so it's
Everybody's
really
got
cool.
to eat.
Everybody's got to eat. But it's really cool how it all works together, and some things when you score them, everybody scores if they have one of those cards, and sometimes it's only you. And so I just think the combinations are very interesting because you can't do everything. You want to do everything. And when you focus and specialize, it's wonderful. There's so much great going on in this game. I love it. So yeah, Majesty for the Realm. Have any of you played this other than Chris?
No. It looks like an interesting.
It's very, I mean, it's neat. It's a fun little point salad-y type thing, and there's
Yeah.
even cooks and forks and stuff in it, so you can just break open that bag of croutons, pour it all over your game, and dive in.
Yes.
Oh, that's
that's
horrible.
That analogy
Trying to put
was
theme into this
so-
game.
I appreciate
So
I
deep.
appreciate the effort, but gross.
F for
A Thousand
effort.
Island.
Yeah. So that's my number 80 is Majesty for the Realm.
My number 80 is a big epic game set in the Warhammer 40k universe. This is Forbidden Stars. So this is a big sprawling game that you're basically like a space conquest game where you're trying to take over different areas, build up your different units, and be able to take over like different planets and be able to complete objectives based on your different faction. One of the really cool things about this is the action selection. You kind of like place out your actions on the board, and then like from top down, the actions in those different sectors will kind of like trigger. So you have to be very deliberate about where you basically set your actions up, because different things can happen based off of where you put that, and the other players very much affect that, because if like I put my action down, then they put an action on top of it, it's like, oh well, they're going to get to do their thing, you know. So the timing of everything is very unique. It also has like these warp storms that go in between and like end up moving around where it blockades the different areas, so you can't move through. There's a lot of bells and whistles and moving parts in this game, and it's sad this game is like no longer in print and not going to have any more factions. I was really excited about this game, hopefully adding like Necrons and all their cool 40k stuff into it, but I guess that's not going to happen at this point. But it is a exciting, big, epic game. The combat in it, I think, is a little bit long and convoluted, or else this would probably be even higher on my list. But I really enjoy the game, and that is Forbidden Stars. a game you guys will probably never play.
I've
I'm
not
forbidden
tried
from
it.
playing it, actually. No.
I'm
It's,
curious
it's
about
probably
it.
it's probably my favorite out of the Forbidden games. You know, like Forbidden Desert, Forbidden Island, all of that stuff. I really enjoy Forbidden Stars. It's like a left turn from the rest of them.
Oh yeah, no. There's a
And it wasn't even designed by Matt Leacock. That was the funny part about it, you know. So, Forbidden Stars. My
let's end this. Let's go.
stupid joke.
All right, number 79. Let's go beige, but only sort of actually.
I mean, you did promise us beige.
If there's no beige, I'm disappointed.
Is this
Well-
is this like
Yeah.
a light or a dark?
I'm disappointed in you.
You're
with that beige.
disappointed until this game fulfills on Kickstarter.
You
Because
didn't
it's
have the game yet?
it's a reprint. It's a reprint.
Oh, okay. A
The
reprint.
additional
A
edition
reprint.
is so beige, but the upcoming edition is
What-
really gorgeous.
Which picture do we get to see?
I think I put in the new one. Mike, what did I do?
Mike?
You put in the
Survey
last
says?
one that was available.
Oh, okay.
Survey.
Get guys
says-
ready for beige. My number 79 is
My eyes.
Raw.
Oh, okay.
Rah 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 rah.
I really like Raw. This is a game that I hadn't played until earlier this year, or maybe the end of last year. This is a fantastic auction game. It's made by Mike's favorite designer, maybe, I don't know, but Rainer Knizia. It has what it does is that it gives a very fun little kind of a push your luck feel, as you can choose to put more tiles into the marketplace, or someone can go ahead and grab the Raw statue and say, we're auctioning. Whoever initiates the auction gets to bid last. You just go once around the table. I like that. I also like that instead of having just free-form money, someone's 5, the next person's like, I don't know, what should I do? 6. You're like, come on, let's just auction fast,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
This one has tiles with designated values on it, and so when you spend it, it goes into the middle of the table, and the next person to win an auction gets that thing. So if you have the highest value tile and you win an auction, you're like, yes, this feels great. Oh no, someone can win it, in the next auction. So the value passes around very naturally. What you're doing is you're set collecting, getting all sorts of cool things. I like the tile stuff, but the auction is so good and smooth, and I'm really excited. There's going to be a beautiful, beautiful reprint of it coming up. So my number 79, Raw.
It's a game that I think I've had zero interest in playing, but I really feel guilty about that. Like I need to play it. Like I should play it, right? And I should want to play it. But oh gosh,
Do you like auctions at all?
I don't. I don't really care for them. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
like economics, like hard pass. It's not like visceral Ralphing.
Right,
But,
yeah.
But
Well, the something we agree on is that we both feel very mediocre about auctions.
yeah.
I'm just not good at them.
I prefer
Like-
auctions over negotiation. But right, just me being a super.
You're ambivalent, it sounds like.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I
It's-
don't know. Anyway, but I feel like I
wouldn't
should
push it.
play it, right? So
Yeah.
anyway.
I just
Yeah.
believe in always starting an auction and always losing it. That's
Right.
my strategy.
Yeah.
It's a very losing strategy. It's great.
All right, my number 79 is. Gotta double check. Yeah, okay. Micropolis. This game is adorable.
Oh.
It's so cute. So in Micropolis, you are building your little ant hill underground farm thing. What is that called? It's the underside.
Molehill,
Mound?
No.
anthill.
But it's like
What's
the
that?
inside of the
Colony?
hill, the colony.
Yeah.
Yes, you're building your colony, and you have different kind of ants. You have some soldier ants and some worker ants and a queen ant, and they all have different scoring opportunities. So over the course of this game, you're going to draft 10 different tiles in order to build your colony and try to maximize your little routes and putting the right kind of ants with the other kind of ants in order to maximize your scoring. I like it. It's really straightforward. It's adorable. I think it's a really neat theme too. We don't colonize ants often, right, in games, and so I just think it's a really fun theme. But it's quick. It's a simple drafting game with your tiles and kind of your colony building, and I really enjoy this one.
I like the soldier ants are like Roman legionaries.
That's awesome.
Yes, it's super cute. So I like it.
It's adorable.
Never tried
Yeah.
it. I don't know. I've
Yeah.
heard. Now it's on your list. It was on Z's list in the past.
Yeah,
All right,
he's the one that
fine.
introduced me. Yeah.
Try this game.
It's good.
Educational.
It's good. I'll think
kind
about
of.
playing Raw if you play this.
Okay, but look how beige that
See,
cover
I'm into
is.
negotiations.
decently
I mean,
now.
there's a
I
lot
got
of dirt
it.
in there.
There was.
There's a lot.
Yes.
This is the brownest game I think that you like.
Quite possibly.
She said it was so cute, though.
But it's so cute.
All right, my number 79 is Pan Am. This is a very cool game where it takes place during the time of the rise of Pan Am, the airline that bought up all the other airlines, which I don't know a lot of history about, but this is very interesting. So basically what you are is you own an airline company and you want to build awesome, great routes that Pan Am wants to buy off of you because you actually earn more money by them buying your airline than you do from running your airline. It's great. But it's got some fun economicness. You really balance this idea of I have cash now. If I invest it in stock, like Pan Am stocks before they get expensive, I can get more by the end of the game because I can afford more. But also then I lose my cash flow. So it's very economic. It's got that fun thing. And every round something happens where you usually get some sort of bonus and the stock prices change. And I don't know, I really enjoy it. And that's such a cool idea of like, I want to run my business just good enough that someone wants to buy me up, but not good enough that like I really earn a lot of money from it. So I just think I think there's very interesting balance there.
Yeah, I didn't expect this one to make your list because we both really enjoy it a lot, but that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, no.
By the way, not on my list.
Way to judge my list, Chris.
Yeah.
Way to know me.
Feel judged.
If you want the real list, is over here.
I bet it's on Chris's list and it's probably higher than mine.
No, it's not actually. I really enjoyed this game. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's one that could be. There's those ones that just can't make it because 100 is limited in a lot of ways. Right. But it is really good.
Real stuff. So that is my number 79, Pan Am.
So my 79 is probably the first board game that like I guess like I earned myself and got a copy of it. This is Robo Rally. This is a robot programming game that basically you are getting all these different robots. You all start on a specific like line, and then you're trying to get to these different flag posts to get to checkpoints and win the game. You're also like trying to figure out how to get your robots there because you program all of your stuff out, and then your robots move, and things can kind of get messed up along the way. Somebody can push you or turn you the wrong way, or you could fall into a hole, or somebody shoots you with a laser and messes up your stuff, and then one of your programs gets locked, so like now every round you're going to turn at the very end of your turn, and now every round you're going to like move forward and then turn at the end of your turn, and you have to try to like power down your robot and heal it, or like figure out a way to race to those flags. I've had a blast with this. This is like zany, silly fun, but also extremely tactical as you're trying to figure out how to program those robots out. It's a lot of fun, and as long as you keep the map short, I've had a blast with it, and it's still one that's in my collection after all of these years. So.
Really?
That sounds really stressful.
It is real time too, so and you like real time games. Yeah, the actually building out of your stuff is real time. You put all that out, and then you just do all the programming, and then you in real time put them all out again. It's just fun trying to figure out how to put okay, I'm going here, I'm gonna turn this way, then I go forward, and then I turn back this way, then I go forward. I don't know. I really enjoy that. It's silly, zany fun, and
this is the first programming game I ever played. I played it in college, and I kind of had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
And I was terrible at it, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. I feel like
and those conveyor belts always get in the way.
Richard Garfield made this around the same time he made Magic the Gathering, so like it is not a recent game at all, but it's fun. So
there's a whole story behind it too. Yeah. About like, hey, we'll publish Magic the Gathering if you can make like a viable board game. Or it was this weird thing where it's almost like this game kind of got made so that Magic the Gathering could get made. And now Richard Garfield.
Actually, I think it's the other way around.
All of space. He's so rich.
I think he made Magic the Gathering because he couldn't sell Robo Rally.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, so it went the other way around. But then Magic was way better.
That's crazy.
I've never tried this one. I think it's one that I might try once. But
it's a game that you can't take too seriously, but also it's just.
I think that's my problem. I take it too seriously, and I would just like I just see myself raging,
angry at the table.
Like, so
no.
Yeah. What? I'm calm.
Or and it's one of those things where it's like, wait, I turned the wrong direction, sort of thing.
I
That's
definitely
that kind of
see myself being.
But you're quick on your feet for those sort of things, like figuring out stuff quickly, so that might also help you.
Run a robot real time.
Yeah, but
or do surgery real time.
Surgery,
really
absolutely.
The best part is after everybody plays their stuff out in real time, whoever's the last player, you put a timer up, and then they only have a certain amount of time to finish out programming out their stuff. And if they don't program out fast enough, you just get to take cards out of their hand and program them for them.
No. Wait, is that a house rule or a legit rule?
I think that's the legit rules. So
don't.
You got to make sure you program fast enough.
I would. Oh my gosh.
That's why you go as fast as you can, just to mess people up.
That would be a bad day for everyone.
Anyway, Robo Rally, my 79.
All right, let's bring it back to the beige here. The robots discussion was getting out of
Just
hand.
in beige? Did you leave beige?
No, I haven't left Beige Town. Are you kidding me?
That's what I thought.
But the rest of my list, I think is pretty. I think the rest of my list is pretty.
Okay,
So you're set.
I think it's pretty.
Yes.
Not it is pretty. Chris thinks it's pretty.
Beige.
So
is
anyway,
a
my number
kind of
78.
pretty, okay, don't judge.
My number 70 is a worker placement game that is called Targi. This is a 2-player only worker placement game. This is one that I didn't love my first play or my second play. We actually bought it and then sold it off.
Or my fourth play.
And then the more that I ended up playing it after we had sold it, I was like, oh, I'm really digging the groove of it. You place workers along the outside edge of this grid, basically. And all of the outside edges give you small little resources or take a small action and stuff. And then wherever your workers cross along in the grid there, so you see how there's like a blue guy on the top, 2 blue guys on the side, and then where they intersect, you put your little discs out, you get to grab those cards. And so some of them have little boons, and some of them are like a set collection thing you're doing. That idea of mixing a grid with worker placement and where your workers intersect is the stuff that you get is so cool. This game can be kind of mean, which is why I think Wendy and I did not gel with it at first.
Yeah, I think that that's my thing with it, is that the mechanism itself is very interesting and very unique. But yeah, it's kind of mean, and then I didn't love the scoring.
The scoring is the most okay part, I think, to me. But over time, playing it more and more, I found ways to kind of adjust and I don't know, just roll with it to the point where I really like this game a lot. It's super cool, easy to set up, easy to play. So yeah, my number 78, Targi.
Very nice. All right, my 70, what are we at? 878 is the, I guess, big sister, big brother to a game I talked about last week, is Abyss. So a very different game than the Conspiracy, that I talked about last week. But yeah, so in Abyss, you are going through and you're collecting different allies that will give you special powers, which eventually you'll use those allies in a set collection to conquer locations, which will then, again, up into points. So I love this game. Yes, it is gorgeous. Once again, it's kind of an underwater theme.
Yeah.
Series here as well, as I'm thinking about what's to come.
blue.
So yeah, a little spoiler there as well. But yeah, I really like this one. I like that you're doing this open draft, for cards, and that the purpose changes over time. Yes, you want it for that power, but then you also want to then use it in a set to get a location. And so there's kind of multiple stages that you're thinking about in that open draft. So yeah, my number 78 is Abyss. I really enjoy this game.
This is one I still haven't played.
Oh, you haven't played it?
Yeah, I still
wow.
have it. It's just one of those
Yeah.
that, like, kind of never happened.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me that game with just less pretty artwork is like every Euro game out there. You know what I mean? In a way.
Oh,
Like
right,
that-
yeah. Are you
that-
calling me shallow?
Yes, I'm calling you a
I
very
would agree
shallow
with that.
gamer.
Yeah, you are correct.
Yeah.
Swimming in the shallow.
But what I'm
end
trying to
of
say is,
water
why
games.
doesn't every Euro game have that kind of
Right.
No,
yeah,
but
that
it
is
should
a make
go-
a Euro
that's a
look
good
like
point,
this.
right?
That's a true.
Like,
And
it'll
I'm there.
bring more people in,
Like that-
accessibility.
Like your Wendy's Majesty for the Realm game. Everyone looks at it and is like, there's a baker, and there's like an old timey
I thought it
soldier
looked
guy.
decently
Yeah.
colorful, though.
It looks okay.
It is colorful, yeah.
And then it's more colorful than so many, but like Abyss just has presence.
Right,
Right,
it's
yeah.
just right. It has pearls. I do love pearls.
Mm-hmm.
You want to interest me in a game? Put pearls in it.
Yeah,
I'm there.
unless you have a 2-year-old.
Let me tell you about
Or
the
younger that
Targi
needs it.
Pearls expansion.
Why would you play? No, but you don't play this
Doesn't
with that. No, no.
Rolls off the table.
No, they're flat. They're nice. Very nice.
Good stuff. So that's your number 78.
That's my 78. Abyss.
Nice. My 78 is Welcome to. This, okay, I have played so many roll and writes in the last 2 weeks that I don't even know if this would be on my list. I think it'd be replaced.
Really?
Like, it's just amazing how many I've played. But there may or may not be a couple roll and writes this particular top 10 for me. But Welcome to, this was the very first real roll and write game when I think of roll and write games that I played. And so it does have that kind of like specialness to me in that way. But you're building your little town, your little city, and you're filling in numbers left to right increasingly. And you want to match up pools with pools, and there's some cool combos and stuff that you can do. And so like I just think that for me, like this was like it was a very eye-opening experience to me to be like, oh, this is such a cool genre of game. And you could say it's a flip and write or whatever you want to call it because there's cards instead of rolling. But
Yeah.
all in all, like I just think that it's so fun, and it it has such a sentimentality to me because of that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we played for the first time Welcome to the Moon, which is like the
Mm-hmm.
sequel to this one.
Which is so much more amazing. Like, I would play Welcome to the Moon over Welcome to any and every day.
Okay, and
I
we
mean,
did lock these
I need to give a
lists a
second
few
try.
weeks
to-
We
ago.
did.
I need to give it a second try to Welcome to the Moon. My first play did not go well with it.
Oh, yeah?
But yeah.
I think that could happen because it's a weird. Have you
You have
played
to
this one
learn
before?
every new
Oh yeah, I
one.
love
play
this
it.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this
Yeah.
game. Do you have a favorite map? I guess they call it map. Your favorite town season? You know how they have like the Christmas
You know-
one, the Halloween one, or have you only played base?
I've only played base.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Well, we'll change
I
that.
know nothing about things.
That's not what I said, but I'll back you up on that comment.
That eye roll is great. Oh my gosh, you've only played the base map.
Oh,
Welcome
you're
to.
so lame. No,
Basic.
Well, how many Welcome to the Moon maps have you played? I've played 2.
like
so far.
1.
3? Did we
Well,
play
that's
3?
double my 1. So.
You know, but so far it's been really cool.
Yeah.
So
Rolling
yeah, that is
right.
my
Good
number
choice. Good
78.
choice.
Welcome to ...
Awesome. My 78 is a extremely asymmetrical game, and that is Root. So this is a game where all different woodland creatures trying to basically do different objectives to gain points during the game, but depending on the faction you're playing, it's going to be very different. It's very area control and kind of like building up, but depending on who you are, you can be completely different. Like the Vagabond is moving items around in between the different factions and getting points that way. If you're the Woodland Alliance, you're trying to like build up your secret alliance and then bust through and take everybody out. If you're the Eerie, you're trying to like program a little bit, kind of like Robo-Rally-ish, but not really the same. But you are doing a little bit of programming. It's like, I need to move, then I need to attack, then I need to build. You know, you have to do those things in those order, and if you don't have that order, then you get set back and kind of like wrecked. As the Cat, you're just trying to do sort of very similar normal area control stuff. There's tons of different factions. There's lizards in here that can like take over like stuff and like just mess people up and turn people to their cult and stuff like that. So there's tons and tons and tons and tons of factions in Root once you add in all the expansions. And I'd love to play this game even more. I feel like it'd definitely go up higher. But it's one of those games that like, I think a lot of leader games are this way, where it's like hard to get back to the table sometimes just because they're so asymmetrical. It's definitely rewarding and worth it if you play them, but it's so hard to
guess,
get
yeah.
back to the table because those rules are hard to keep in your head. I need Mike to teach us to me more and play it again, but I really enjoy
Oh,
Root.
got
It's a
thumbs up
blast.
there
Gives a
from
thumbs
him
up. Good,
behind the
'cause,
camera.
Yeah, no, this game's a gimmick. The asymmetricalness of it.
You really feel that way?
Yeah.
Look at that smirk. Do you know Chris?
Chris plays this app all the time.
Okay, yeah, I think this game's really good.
This is stupid
Do you know
pick,
Chris's
Roy,
face at
and you
all?
should feel
He's not
stupid about
serious.
yourself.
I'm guessing it's
Chris
like
goes like
literally his next pick,
when
or
he
else
lies.
he wouldn't
He's a
be
little, like,
saying
twitches
this.
in the corner.
It's got to be part of this list, or else the chat will skewer him because this is a highly regarded game. You're wrong, Chris.
This one's just so intimidating.
It's not on
I
my
don't know.
list. Just saying.
Anyway, skewer him in the comments now before you see that he likes it. Anyway, next.
Put those skiers away! My number 77 is Root!
I only called it just a little bit.
Oh no, yeah, man, everything you said about this game is very true. I really like this one.
Yeah.
And once again, this is one that I feel like is a little bit out of my typical comfort zone. But the asymmetry pays off really well. Every faction is fun to kind of explore and play. And they keep pumping out expansions. This is one of the best apps I've ever played, like a board game app implementation, because unlike a lot of apps where you take a busy, difficult to learn and difficult to play game, sometimes I play the app and I'm like, well, I'm not sure I want to pull out the board version anymore. This is one of the few ones that's golden, where I play it and I think, oh, I now have gotten over the hurdles of learning the different factions. I really want to play this physically now. I think that's a fantastic sign for the app. The game's great. I love that you're chasing either 30 points or kind of an alternate win condition, so there's pressure constantly. Each faction gets points in very different ways. This is a brilliant game. I really like it.
And we're going to play it. Let's do it. Let's play it.
All right, we'll play it. My number 77?
Sunday.
Is your
See you
finger
there.
okay? That was intense. Are you,
Table's
do you,
not, for sure.
right.
Now my fingers are asymmetrical.
All right, my number 77 is another small, open draft, really pretty game. Kanagawa. Anyone want to pronounce that
You
for me?
nailed it.
Did I?
Kanagawa.
Kanagawa.
Yes.
Kanagawa. So In
Oh, you
this, in Kanagawa, you are again. It's the open draft, and you have this grid or this map of cards out there. And on your turn, you will draft an entire row of cards, or pass and kind of push your luck, hoping for the right things to come out. You know that you want. And as you take those cards, you're doing one of two things for them. You're either putting them in your scenery that you're trying to paint out. In order to do that, though, you have to have the right color combos and have the brush movements in order to use your paints. And so you're either putting them out in your scenery, or you're taking them for the brush movement and for that color scheme, so that you can then paint the scenery. As you paint your scenery, it's kind of I guess almost a set collection kind of thing, but you're building this tableau of the scenery that you're painting. And I really like it. I like that interesting decision of I want to take these so that I can paint them out, but I need to have it in the right order to make sure I have the brush movement and the right colors in order to make it happen. And it's just some really interesting decisions of a little bit of push your luck with open drafting. Again, it's quick, it's small, and I really have enjoyed every time. I just find this almost a very relaxing game. You know, this is one of those that I just kind of walk away, and that's kind of actually a lot of these, you know, kind of like Macropolis, you know, I would call that again just one of my, like, relaxing. You know, it's just very.
Or if you like the art and you find the art relaxing,
right? And
you find
it's
the
short,
gameplay relaxing.
Yeah, then it is. It's just kind of there's enough thinking that you're engaged, you know, and you're interacting with the other players. But at the same time, it's just like deep breath, and it's just relaxing.
Do those little paint pots come with the base game?
Those
Those
are
are
super
super
Well,
cute.
with the base game that we have in the library, so I'm going to.
No, I think that's.
All right, yes, I got a
like,
thumbs
is that
up
a
from
Tom
Mike. Yes,
thing
they
or
do
not
come with
Tom
them. I was
thing?
like, I don't know, I'm spoiled.
To your
so.
point, Wendy, I'd love to meet someone who looks at this artwork and just feels stress.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you had a deer phobia or something, like.
I guess so. Yeah, right.
That's a
right.
thing?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Probably,
but it's just
yeah.
very relaxing. I just really enjoy it. I feel like, you know, the times I've played this, it's just you kind of leave it like, oh, that was very pleasing. That was very pleasing.
I've always kind of been interested in playing this one,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize it was a
I've played
Catholic
before.
game.
It's pretty fun. I mean, you're just trying to get the little panorama.
Right. I mean,
things
like,
built,
it's pretty
so.
straightforward, you know. And
Okay.
yeah. So
Short, sweet,
Yeah.
and simple. Nice.
cool.
All right, my number 77 is another little game, and this is Sushi Go Party.
Ooh.
And you know what? I didn't look up. I realized that it didn't connect with my list from whatever you call it, 2 years ago. With regular Sushi Go, I know it was on there, but I don't know what number it is. So sorry, I don't have those facts for you all. But Sushi Go Party has definitely the upgraded must-buy version, in my opinion. And I love this because it works for everybody. Like, this is a game that I enjoy playing with the youth group that I work with at church. I enjoy playing it with my daughter. I enjoy playing it with the nieces and nephews, but also with, like, Chris's brother and his wife and, like, other people. Like, I feel like it just works with everybody. It is a game that you can get to the table. You draft cute little sushis, which always make me hungry, and I want to eat all
I
the
am
sushi. 'cause it's
extremely hungry right now. Give me all the cute sushi, and I want to eat it.
Right? But it also, because the party version lets you switch out what cards are going to come in each particular game,
Right.
you can mix things up and you can change it a little bit, and it's fun to try out those combinations. So I love this game so much. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
Probably
great.
Good one.
I would be hard pressed to say that there's got to be a cuter game out there than this one. I don't know, man. I really love the look of it.
Super good.
I like it. I don't know that I would call
What
it
day are we getting sushi?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Publix is $5 sushi day. On
Yeah, but there's
Wednesday.
we have to set up a conveyor belt when we do it, though, so that way we
I
draft the
wasn't a big
sushi.
fan of conveyor belt sushi.
You're wrong.
I'm fan of all
Anyway.
sushi.
You're wrong.
I'm good.
It was
Yeah.
warm. That's all I'm saying. All
Wendy's
warm
wrong.
sushi. But that's my number 77 is Sushi Go Party.
You don't like warm sushi?
Not
Normally,
like,
Like
not
it's
if it's
like-
supposed to be cold.
Oh, okay,
I don't
yeah,
want it
okay.
warm.
All right, I'm back. All right,
I don't
sorry.
want it sitting
I'm
under
sorry.
a heat lamp on a
Yes,
conveyor
yes, I see
belt
what you're saying. Okay,
getting warm.
okay.
That's,
Like,
that's
cool.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, a KFC heat lamp. That's what they
No,
are.
Right,
but like the
that-
melted
yeah,
cream
okay.
cheese and some of the sushi.
Oh, I don't like the cream cheese
I
one,
like
so
that.
yeah.
it's really good.
Gross.
My number 77 is a cooperative horror-themed pick-up and deliver game, and that is Horrified. Very specific.
I love that when you add the pick up and deliver, it just like.
Yeah, it is pick up and deliver though. You're protecting
It
the
is, it
people,
totally is.
and you're moving them around and trying to keep them away from the monsters that are chasing you down. I really enjoy Horrified, and I just think it's just a great cooperative game where there's a lot of cooperation that goes on as you're like, okay, you gotta go here and get this, and oh no, we need to protect that person, and bring them over here and get them saved, and oh no, the monster's gonna move like this, we should try to avoid him here. And it's just a game that just works, and it fits that theme, and the fact that all of the different monsters are slightly different on how they work and the different objectives you have to do to defeat them, and you can up the difficulty by playing with more monsters or less monsters. There's a lot of really smart things done in Horrified, and I just have a lot of fun playing it.
Do you have a
game
favorite
that's-
monster?
I don't know. Maybe the Creature from the Black Lagoon. I don't know.
That's really
For a
good.
game that's so, like, you look at it and it's very mechanical, like, deliver blue things here to defeat Dracula or whatever.
Right.
It still manages to be very thematic.
I love the
Right.
theme where it's like, oh
Right.
crap, you gotta like go get the coffin and like go over here and
Right.
get the steak or whatever. Like that stuff just makes sense. you
Yeah.
know?
I think what impressed me about this is it's so accessible, but yet still has that variability with the different monsters. You know, I mean, this is the kind of a game that you expect to pick up, you know, on Target sale, you know, and it has just a base couple characters and gets repetitive really quickly.
Right.
You know, and I think I was really impressed that it's not like they took that effort to put in the additional monsters and then, you know, with the new one, the American, it's kind of set up more for expansions. I kind of felt like, you know, to add more stuff in later. And so I just think it was really neat that it's that accessibility, but also variability in it.
Yeah.
You know,
This is a
Yeah, it
game
was
that
really
has
impressive.
an IP that's just like solid mechanically, and I
Yeah.
really enjoy it. So,
Yeah.
Horrified, my number 77.
Nice.
So looking over this list, I realize that a lot of these games are like older designs that could have been on my list 4 years ago if I had played them at the time. My number 76 is a game that I had played at the time. You know, so like for example, like Raw and stuff. Like I hadn't played it before until recently. My number 76 is a game I was playing at the time, and I thought it was good, but it's just really grown for me over time. It's a game called Roll for the Galaxy.
Ooh.
This is the
good one.
DICE follow-up to Race for the Galaxy, which was kind of a Puerto Rico the card game based on Puerto Rico. This is like an iteration of an iteration of an iteration of a game, and yet it still feels different to me than like any of the games that were kind of in the inspiration pipeline for it. You roll dice and assign them out to different actions. But the shared DNA is that there's different phases out there. Phases 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, where you can like settle planets and produce goods on those planets and ship them off, or conquest stuff. And so only certain phases will be activated per round. And so depending on how many dice you've allocated to the different actions, in which phase everybody chooses, certain of your dice will activate and certain of them will just go back into your cup, and you'll get to roll them again next round. This is a game that I've found that I really enjoy teaching, but what I do is I don't put up the player screen because you assign your dice and stuff behind your screen. So for the first round or two, you just kind of play it open. And when I've done that, I think I've enjoyed teaching it a lot. And I think that's one of the reasons why this game has shot up the list for me, is that now that I realize, oh, it's very teachable with a few little things. Don't do hidden actions and stuff on your first round or two. And then every time I've taught it, it's been a huge success. I really like this one. So Roll
that's cool.
for the Galaxy.
I really like the way that the action selection is with dice, because you do roll dice and use what those faces are to make your action selection, but you can always take a die and kind of wild it and say, like, I want this to be the settlement action, and so that adds a die to settlement. And then there's also a way to like trade in dice and turn another, you know, you basically get rid of a dice so
Right.
you can turn a die. And so it gives you that mitigation
Right,
in
that's
every
cool.
single round that I appreciate a lot. So
And you built
Yeah,
such a cool
it's-
engine, getting more colored dice behind your screen. You're like, yes, I have so many blue dice.
You can
Yes.
specialize in certain things. That's awesome.
yeah,
Huh.
that's great.
Very cool. Very nice. All right, my number 76 is, I think, my newest game in this chunk. Here, I believe there's one that might be, I have to check, but I'm pretty sure this is the newest one in this chunk, and that is Now or Never. I think out of everyone in the office, I'm the one that liked this one the most, if I'm not mistaken.
I have not played it.
You haven't played this one?
Actually, I haven't played anything except for the tiny bit of Sleeping Gods I played.
Oh, really?
Along those
Okay.
games, yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
this
wow.
is the third in that series of the Above and Below,
Near and far.
Near and Far, and then Now and Never is the third one. And so this has a very Euro feel, you know, but again, it's so pretty. See, Chris? This.
Yeah.
How you get it's just missing pearls, but you know, it's got a big moon on the front. So, but yeah, so I really enjoy this. It has this sandbox feel where you can go out and you're upgrading your character, and or you know, you're upgrading character and maybe going on different quests and fulfilling those quests to get points or to have different special abilities. But then you're also going out and fighting big monsters, and so it has that a little bit of a Ameritrash feel to it, you know, where it's you know, some luck. And I love this. I love the sandbox feel. It can be very long, but I think going into that, going into the game knowing that, I really, really enjoyed the plays of this, because you do feel like you're building up the whole time, you know. And by the end, it's like you're trying to to balance this, am I going to go on this quest and get these points, or how does that fit into building up my character? And I typically just go for the strategy of make myself as beefy as possible and then slay monsters. I've yet to win with that strategy, but I loved it,
But you
and
have
I
the
was
most fun.
awesome. I had I did
you've
enjoy
killed
it the
the
most.
most
So you know
monsters.
who really won? I don't know. I do know. It was me. So yeah, I really, really enjoy this game. Now or never.
That's awesome. My number 76 is San Juan. So it's funny that you mentioned Puerto Rico and you mentioned Race for the Galaxy. This has a lot of those same kind of mechanisms where whoever the active player is, they basically choose one of the actions and they'll say, okay, I want to produce on my buildings, and so you produce, and if you're the active player, you get some sort of greater benefit, but everybody gets a little bit. And it's a cool game where you're kind of just building up your buildings, you're producing and you're selling stuff, and your cards are your resources. I don't know, it's got a lot of that really cool multi-use things that I like about games. But yeah, it's the beigest game on my list for sure. It is what we got for this for beige wise today.
And look at that great cover.
I mean, the art is impeccable.
There's
is
like
what
the
I would
left
say.
arm of a dude holding a map.
Oh yeah, it does wrap around the box all awkwardly.
Oh, it does.
So that
Oh,
the
it wraps
spine
around.
matches the front. Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Woof, that's rough.
I think there's a better looking second edition. By better looking, I mean at least there's a guy on the cover.
But yeah,
There's a full person, not a shoulder.
if I had my choice between playing this and Puerto Rico, I would just play this because I feel like it's more streamlined. It takes what I like, and it doesn't mess up with like boats and dealing with all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I dig it. So that's my 76 is San Juan.
My 76 is a tile placement game where you're racing to get gold before a dragon kills you all, called Dracon. Dun dun dun. So this is a game by Tom Jolly where you're trying
Sound
to
effects.
put out different tiles, and you're all different like adventurers who got trapped in a dungeon. And basically the dragon made a deal where the first person to get to 10 coins will be released and everyone else gets consumed. So you're all trying to figure out ways to place out these tiles so that way you can get coins and mess up the other players so they don't get coins. The coins have values anywhere from 1 to 3. There's mostly all 2s, but some of them are 1s and 3s, and you kind of keep those hidden. And if someone ever has 10, they can reveal them all and win the game. But you're trying to set up like kind of like a little engine of paths a little bit, because the rooms can only be kind of like left from like one direction or several different directions, and there's tons of different special abilities that let you destroy rooms or let you get in an elevator and fly to the other side of the map, and now you're going around here getting gold in these spaces that somebody's already been before. You can turn rooms and tiles. It's very much like a labyrinth maze tile building game, and it's really simple and silly fun, lots of messing over your opponents, but I just had a blast playing with it. I have the 3rd edition of this, and the tiles smell disgusting, and that's one of the perks of the game.
Is it the leftover
that
smoke
way,
from
or
his
like-
fire?
It's like notorious. Like if you look on Board Game Geek, people are
okay.
like 3rd edition, like the ink that they used,
Weird
like just it
chemicals
smells
in it.
bad. So like halfway through the game, I'll just be like, the best part of this game is how disgusting the tiles smell, and everybody's holding a hand of tiles and they smell, and they're like, you're right, they smell really bad.
And it doesn't
Just
go
smells
away
like
with time.
It smells like
Oh.
vomit. So all other editions invalid because they don't smell like vomit.
It gives you
I
that
love-
dank
I love this
dungeon
game.
dwelling
Oh, there you
experience.
go.
Exactly.
Theme. Yeah, it really sells
It
the theme.
feels
Okay,
like a
all
real
right, yeah.
vomit-filled
4D.
dungeon,
Oh my
but
gosh.
I'm probably not selling it with that. But I love the game. It's a lot of fun. I've had a blast playing it, and that's why it's my 76.
And smelling it.
Hi
It's-
guys,
it's
I'm
silly.
Draken
It's
the
silly.
Dragon.
Sorry, Tom Jolly.
Sorry, Tom Jolly.
The game smells like puke.
Yes, well, they made more editions after that, and Fantasy Flights made more stuff, and I'm sure they smell fine, but they're not as
If it
good as
smelled better, would it be higher or lower on your list?
It would definitely be lower. No.
Fair argument.
It's fun. It's nostalgic, you get those
Oh
smells.
yeah, well, I'm
and you're
not
like,
arguing
yes,
with you. I was
go-
just curious.
Go back
yeah.
to it.
You scratch and sniff.
Oh.
I don't know why. Every time this is on
Takes
my
me
list, I
into
bring up
time
the
I had
smell
the
of the
flu.
game. So it's like the cup in what is it?
Stone Age.
Stone Age or whatever. Everybody always talks about how the cup stinks or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like that.
That's funny.
So my 76 Dracon.
My number 75 is a very tactical, very adventurous game called Adventure Tactics.
Oh.
This is a game that we've only played a little bit. I
Scratched the surface, I would say.
desperately want to play more. I think our daughter needs to be a little older. She needs to level up a little bit more before I think we delve into this as a family.
We're getting close.
Yeah, but we played this a few scenarios.
Okay.
I really like this.
Have you
This-
played any without her?
We actually only played it
only
without
played
her.
with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I see.
and so I just know like the amount of text and strategy and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
she'll
No,
have to be a little bit older.
I've done the same with my son. Yeah, I was just curious.
Okay, yeah, but I really want to go through this campaign because it's sort of a deck building type thing. You have a hand of cards, you place them to move and fight stuff in a grid map and everything. That's great, right? I enjoy that stuff sometimes. But you level up after every scenario, and there's 5 levels of wizard you can be, and there's 5 levels of fighter and 5 levels of ranger. But you can cross class, you can mix things, you can become like super awesome pretty quickly. Just the few scenarios we played, the leveling up that we did, I was like, oh, I love this. I have these fantastic new cards. We have these new abilities. We have all this stuff, and it just keeps giving it to you quickly, and I don't think it'll bloat either. Because I think that you only keep a few things when you cross class and stuff, cross train. But what you do get feels so nice. I wish every campaign game could feel like you leveled up this quickly.
Right.
And yet, I'm sure that the game will still remain balanced over time because people have a lot of praise to give this one. So I'm excited to play more. Eventually, I know we'll get around to it. It's my number 75, Adventure Tactics. I guess it has a subtitle, Domiane's Tower.
I think, yeah. And I think that the cool thing about this is, yes, you are leveling up very quick, but you also, it has that decision space too. Like you said, you want to keep going and becoming a stronger
Barbarian fighter.
Right, exactly. Ranger, or do you want to cross over into the magical ones? And so it's like, yes, you're leveling up quickly, but you feel like you have choices. You can look at that. Oh
Yeah.
no, I want to be this guy at the end, so I need to go ahead and cross train in this one. So you have this whole book, and you can kind of set that goal early. So you still, but it's not like you're holding yourself back. You're still leveling up, but building for something big. So there's a really neat decision space in that, I think.
And so many games like this, you're like, oh, I've been training on this wizard path. I'm gonna go ahead and like beef up a little bit and be a swordsman now.
Right.
And so many games, video games, D&D, that type of stuff. Once you cross class, you're like, oh, but I'm so basic again. And I can see why this one won't feel that way.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah. Good choice. Nicely done.
I got a compliment. Whoa!
Hi. My number 75 is a game that I want to play more, and I need to play it more because I am very bad at it. But it's one of those, like, when you play a game, you're like, oh, I like this. Then you play it again, you're like, oh, I would really like this, but I'm not quite there yet. And you're like, it's like, I can tell that I understand it now, but I need to just like gnaw on it and play it a couple more times. And this is Factory Funner. So this game, in Factory Funner, you are you're building up a factory and connecting these different pipes to get, I don't know, ink? Anyone know what it is thematically? I'm a little embarrassed that I don't know thematically what is in these colored
Chemicals?
cauldrons, whatever. Yes, but you're connecting
Toxic
with
waste, probably.
Toxic waste. Yes, I like it. Oh, I'm back in. Okay.
Factory fun!
Hold on, this is all of a sudden my 65. It's, these vials of blood. And so yes, so you have these different pots that you're connecting, and you're at the beginning of each round. There's a little bit of a real-time element where some new tiles come out, and you want to draft them as quick as possible. But you need to make sure you take one that you can actually use. So it's this really neat, like you're sitting there and staring at it and looking at your board, and you're like, oh, I need to go. But because if you take one that you can't use, then there's a negative effect to it. So it's this really interesting, like real-time, kind of effect where you grab something, and then it's like 5 minutes of sitting there and just trying to make it work and getting your pipes to work, and maybe capping something off until you can actually use it. And so I just think it's a really interesting balance of having that little bit of real-time, a little bit of pressure, but then having to sit down and really puzzle through something that I really enjoy. Just an interesting balance between that. So my number 75 is Factory Funner, and I definitely need to play more of it to even consider myself decent at
Well,
it.
you should play with me because I'd probably be terrible.
There we go.
And to figure out what the
fantastic.
theme
Oh, I
is.
could win.
But yeah. No, this is
But not
great.
with Roy.
No.
Yeah, I was about to say,
you're not invited.
I want to play
No,
this
no.
game,
No,
but
no.
I also feel like I would actually probably do pretty
Roy
okay
is
at this game.
amazing at this kind of like
Oh,
real-time
no doubt.
puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
that
goodness.
thinking quick and like puzzling quick and yeah.
We don't talk
Yeah.
about Bruno.
Roy.
Yes.
Min-max.
So you're invited. Roy is not.
Roy is not.
No, when Roy plays games, he's just like, max.
Yeah. He is
Max,
not Max. He is
Max.
Max. Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Mad Max.
Mad Max.
Tracks. Yeah.
75. Factory Funner.
All right, my number 75 is one of my 2 really pretty games on my list today. So Gotta take a nod there. This is Predaporter. This is actually one of the few games that we have kickstarted. It is rare and few and far between. But this is such an awesome, awesome game. So basically, you are a fashion designing company or brand or something like that. And you are designing different types of wear. So you've got sportswear, you've got formal wear, you've got whatever. And you're trying to spend your rounds doing all this cool economic-y stuff to then go to a fashion show, and it's basically like whoever does the best in certain categories, you get to score more money and more points, so that then next round you can make even better awesome outfits and stuff. And so it's really cool that the theme is very involved with the way that it goes, but it's also very economic-y, very Euro-y. Really enjoy this a ton. And yeah, it's also one that I can teach, which is, I feel like I don't teach a lot of games, but I have taught this one. And so that's actually a cool thing about working here is that I get to teach more games. Because it's something that I just haven't really done a lot before.
I think that's the thing like with our list today is like, oh, I want to play that. Oh, I want to play that. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Predaporter has definitely been on my list for a while.
It's a good one, definitely. So yeah, that is my number 75, Predaporter.
My number 75 is a party game with crazy different art, and I really enjoy Dixit. So Dixit basically is a game where one player is like trying to has a card that they have a story that they think of, or a word, or some sound that they think of. There's all sorts of different things you can put out there, and they put it face down. Then everybody else tries to find cards that match that. And one of the things I really enjoy about this game is kind of like the meta of it a little bit, of trying to like figure out like, okay, they're behind in points. Like, how can I like have them guess? Because if everybody guesses your card, you don't get points and everybody else does.
You're playing Dixit at a whole new level.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait, you don't do that?
Exactly. Me and Camilla are on the same page.
I'm just trying to stay afloat in this game.
I love Dixit, and I love trying to think about like what ways can I spin this and make this a certain way that they'll understand what it means, but Chris won't get it, and that's the reason Chris doesn't get it, because he doesn't get it.
I'm good at this game.
I played once.
I've had a blast with Dixit, and I love the artwork, and it's all like crazy different artwork in the game, and it's just a fun to play. And I can work with all sorts of different people just because it's really easy to explain and teach. There's a little bit of that nuance in like figuring out like you want to say something that not everybody's gonna get, but some people will. And it's just fun with the little bunnies going around the score track. I've had a blast with Dixit, and
it's so fun to see that grow in people. You know what I mean? In this game, like they start out and it's kind of like, okay, so we play and we want to guess, and it's and so they go to kind of from this idea of like, oh, it's really random. Maybe they'll guess it, maybe they won't. To getting into that more into people's heads, where it's, oh, I want so and so to guess this, but not so and so, and you really see when you teach this game to people, you see that growth through the game, and I think that's so fun, and that like, moment, almost every time you play with new people.
I love looking at my hand of cards and trying to think of like what word or what story would I, like what thing would I say for each of these, and then like you have one in your head for like a specific one, and then somebody like plays down something that's like, but that card would work really good for that thing, and then you're like, I guess I'm just gonna bail on this one and give it to them because it matched really good with the thing, and like trying to figure out how you can trick people with your cards as well with the things that other people said, and it's just a great game and a really fun party game. So Dixit, my 75.
Good choice.
'74 time. If you've not played this one, I think this is one that you would definitely want to play. And Roy at some point is going to talk about it more. My number 74 is Forgotten Waters. This is a great pirate game. It is cooperative, but it has elements of selfishness because you have this little adventure book there where you're putting out your people to do different tasks depending on which page of the storybook you're in. And nobody wants to, swab the poop deck or whatever the bottom option is always like terrible.
I always get stuck doing the terrible jobs.
Yeah. The bottom action is smell the Dracon tiles. Right?
Yes.
And so everybody wants to do the more fun stuff, and so you have to be a little bit selfish, and you have to go on this really cool, big, fantastical adventure and solve whatever the big mystery is. This is a follow-up in the Crossroads system that was first introduced in Dead of Winter. And while I loved that was my favorite part of Dead of Winter, this, implementing it into a website, makes it so that there's not a person holding the card, kind of waiting for a thing to trigger. It's just kind of baked into the game design now.
I honestly miss that part.
Really?
I sort of do, but I think that this lets it be implemented smoother.
I think it's smoother, I think that it just, I like that moment where I'm like, oh, it triggered, whereas I feel like this just kind of like happens.
It is,
I don't know. It has less of that like this is the crossroad in it.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, it doesn't feel as
Yeah.
crossroady, but I think it also, like
Yeah.
you said, it makes it smoother to where it like actually happens. Someone didn't. Oh wait, whoops, I did
Yes,
that. You know what I
there's
mean?
you
no
went
Like,
to the
forgetting.
library. Oops. Hey, is Jonathan Goodall in the
right,
game or not?
perchance, you know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
There
it's just
definitely is
smoother
that.
for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Forgotten Waters, super awesome adventure game, really fantastic.
I have played this one.
You have.
I
Okay.
have. Yes,
Love it.
It's good stuff.
that's all I'll say today.
All right. You heard it here, folks. heard it. You heard it here
heard it.
first, folks.
Yeah, when's
Your
your
turn.
birthday party
My turn.
again?
My 74 is Dune Imperium. Dune Imperium. Yes, I enjoy this game. So this is a deck building where you are going out and I'm going to mess the theme up on this one, guys. I'm going to be completely honest. I have not read the books. I've tried to read the books 3 or 4 times now and
You
given
take the
up.
role of a Jedi.
Yeah, so
Starfleet.
feel free to mock away here. But you're going out, and it is worker placement. You're placing your different workers based on a card that you play to be able to gather different resources or take your people and put them into fights. So it has a combat. I love the combat of this, that you see it developing as you go, but then you also can go and get, I believe they're the intrigue cards, right? That then maybe will boost your combat scores and such. And so whoever comes out of combat at the end gets some special ability, and pretty much it's a first person to 10 points wins. So you also have that kind of little bit of race element with it, and I really, really enjoy this game. Again, it's that interesting decision space. It's a deck builder that I don't feel that your deck gets too bloated, you know,
Yeah.
and so again, it's that multiple use cards that I really, really enjoy. Well, you know, are you going to play it in order to be able to go to a space and take an action that you need, or hold it back in order to actually use the ability on bottom, which will boost combat, or purchase new cards? And so it's just, I love, really, really enjoy that aspect, that there's interesting decisions at every phase of this game, as ultimately you're just trying to get to 10 points. So my number 74 is Dune Imperium.
Holy cow! Every point you earn in this game is like
Yeah.
clawing and scraping for it.
Right, but what I love about this, because I've seen that people, and they just kind of that steady clawing up and up and up and up, but you know, there's also the strategy of hold back and, you know, just kind of build yourself up and then go
Just
for those
like
combat later on and
everything.
just run up the scores. I mean, I've seen somebody go from, you know, 1 point to 7 in like 2-3 rounds. You know, it's like, oh, where'd that come from? You
Yeah.
know, and so I just, again, the decision making space in this game, it just leads to a lot of different strategies as well, which
Yeah.
I've seen play out so many cool ways.
It definitely has a lot of that
So-
like anxiety that's good in worker placement games. With like, please don't take that space. Do I
I
go for this
know.
first, or do I
So
go
much
for
of
that
that.
first?
Right, and that
If I
readjustment,
get,
like,
it's like, oh man, they went there this turn. I'm gonna have to wait around before I get that thing. It's like,
right,
it's
and then
just
how do you
so-
readjust to that? And it's really just interesting decision after interesting decision after tension, and like, play it cool, man, poker face. I don't really want that space. You know, like I love it. It's
Cool, man.
Yeah, play cool, man, play cool. 74, Dune Imperium.
There you go. My number 74 is Beyond Balderdash. So I played the original Balderdash as a kid, and it never quite went well. So the way the original game is that you have a word, and if you know the definition of this very obscure word, you can write the actual definition. Or you just make up definitions. Basically a game where you're just making up a bunch of BS and you're lying to each other. Problem is, I played it with family members that were not good at making up definitions. They'd be like, a cat or a dog. And then you had my mom that would like actually know these words and give real definitions and stuff. So, setting that aside, I always wanted to play it as an adult with people that were like capable and competent. And
I feel like I just got called
not
stupid.
overly smart.
I'm so bad at this game. Thanks.
No, apparently she just insulted her family. Dishonor on my dad, dishonor on my mom.
No, my mom rocked at this game. But yeah, so finally, it all came around to a few years ago. We finally played this game with friends, and I didn't realize there was a new version. So it's not just definitions, but now they have like movies and storylines that you have to make up fake plots for, and they have like jobs or like famous people that you're like, this is why they're famous by some obscure reason. Like there's just fun, lots of different weird stuff. Like there's
Dumb
more-
laws.
Oh yeah, dumb laws that like are real. And so there's like so much weird obscure stuff in here that it's just so much fun. It took something that I thought was like, oh, that's a clever game, to like, oh, this is fun ridiculous. In fact, I think this would be super fun live. I think this would go over really well.
I think we've played it live
Have
here
you?
and there a little bit. Yeah, we definitely have.
This was on Tom's list I was just looking over the other three
Oh, was
people.
it?
Yeah, this
Oh,
one.
really?
Yeah, so you cross over with
Interesting.
Tom here.
Yeah, it's solid. I'm not a big party game person, but if you add like word fun stuff to it, I love it.
Oh, see, and making up
there's-
information on spot like that, like this is not.
No, you have time to write. Like you have time to think about it.
Yeah,
You
then
write it
everyone else is
down.
done. I'm still
And then,
like-
The thing is, the correct answer is so like crazy majority of the time that everybody's weird, crazy answer ends up
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's
Yeah.
great. It's so much fun. So yeah, that is my number 74, Beyond Balderdash.
So my 74 is another Ryan Lochte game, but not the one Camilla picked. Mine is Near and
Oh,
Far.
the middle one.
Yeah, so
Nice.
this is when we're kind of like building up your adventuring party and going out and moving around and exploring different stories and doing different stuff, fighting off bandits to get points,
great.
getting the right resources to be able to recruit stuff and build stuff up, and getting flags and returning those in for points and things like that. There's a lot of interesting stuff that happens in Near and Far, and one of the things I love about these Ryan Lochte games is story. Like I feel like there's like a progression from I guess if I say too much, it'll spoil my list in the order of the things. But as they went along, there's more and more stories going on in these games. I love Ryan Lochte's games. I love the art. I love the
neat.
stories. I love how you can build things up. And I just love, I don't know, little frog people like and fish
It's just
people.
a neat world.
It's just fun.
It's
I
just
just
a
love,
really well done world.
I love the world and I
Yeah.
love seeing games in it over and over again. I don't get tired of it. It's kind of crazy.
I need to play one of
Some
these
of
at
these,
least.
yeah.
Oh, you
Or I
haven't
get-
played
played
any?
Above
I
and
haven't
Below or
played-
Near and Far?
Nor
Now or
Never.
Never.
Yeah,
And you've
we're
only
in
played
the-
Are
a
you a
little bit of
gamer?
Sleeping Gods?
Are
Yeah.
you a Euro gamer? Are you against pretty games? What is your problem?
I would say
wrong
this
with you?
game is decent.
It
like,
even has a beige box.
I think
It
that Ryan,
does, doesn't
I think
it?
that Ryan Lochte smells like Dracon tiles. I had to say
Oh, there it is. Okay, all right.
rude. This game has a little bit more of an adventure feel to it, but it's definitely still extremely Euro. Like points is the
is.
point of the game. You know, I think a Near and Far is probably a little bit more Euro. Like it's less story and more just like
Yeah.
building up your market and getting your like maximizing your points. But yeah, this game's great, and it's a lot of fun. So you should definitely try those out.
Yeah,
I
it should.
should.
They're a lot of fun.
Shame. Shame.
Shame, so much shame.
Shame
Do
on
it.
Chris. Shame on his beige.
And done.
All right.
So
My
much
number
good
73, this is the game that was on my list 4 years ago. This is a classic. It's been around for, I think, probably about 20 years or so. It is the tile laying game, Carcassonne. I think that Carcassonne looks nice. I don't know if you enjoy this cover or not, right? I enjoy as you build up the town or the landscape. It always just kind of comes together in this kooky little array of roads and cities, and sometimes you make cities that look like hearts, and sometimes they're just sprawling monsters of huge cities and stuff. But your turn is simple. Lay a tile. You can put one of your meeples on it, on a road or on a farm path or on a city, basically, to try and score some points. Some things you score by completing the city or finishing the road or surrounding certain tiles with the monasteries on it. It's a game that I could never wrap my head around because I heard people say, "Oh, Carcassonne's really fun," and I looked at it and I kind of read the rules and I was like, I guess. Once you start playing it, it just works so well. Like before I played,
gotcha.
like trying to conceptualize how could this game work? I could never figure it out, and then finally playing it, I really like it. The more you play it, the more in your face you can kind of
Yes.
be.
Right.
Yes,
yeah.
it gets really mean.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah, the first time you play it, like, this is great, this is so, like, easy going, and then after when I play like 50 times, we're like, get out of my city!
There's like 4 of each color in each city. It's terrible.
I love it. So yeah, 73, Carcassonne.
Nice. All right, my number 73 is going to be the lightest game, I think, in this. Well, I think it's light, but I don't know. I also adjust rules. You were talking earlier about how you adjust rules. This is one that I often adjust to play with different people. But this is Quacks of Quedlinburg. And I say I adjust it because typically I, start with my son and we start with like 1 ingredient and then went to 2 ingredients and 3, kind of brought it in. But this is going to be a push your luck game in which, a push your luck bag building game,
Yes.
in which you are
I see
buying different
Khonshu.
ingredients. You what?
I see Khonshu. There's Moon Knight reference. I do. There's a bird head.
Oh, bird head. Yes, there is a skull. And so in this, you are buying ingredients and adding it to your bag, and you're trying to pull out these ingredients and make as much of your potion as possible, in order to sell in the market. However, you have cherry bombs in there, and if you pull out a certain number of cherry bombs, then your whole potion explodes, and you only get half the benefits. And so it's really. really fun because you go and you feel like you have strategy, you know, it's like, okay, if I get this ingredient which couples with this ingredient, and that's going to be my strategy, and so you're going in with it, and you know, maybe you go really high into high value ingredients, or maybe you just kind of go more for quantity, getting more ingredients in there, you know, to dilute those cherry bombs. You know, so you feel like you have strategy, but at the end of the day, it really is just kind of that luck of the draw of what comes out of your bag, you know. And I've exploded, I think, you know, on my third draw, you know, it explodes. And I've also gone all the way around the track with like no cherry bombs at all, you know. So it's a lot of interesting tense moments, you know, as it's like, oh, are they still going? Okay, I'm still going to go too. You know, so just so tense, a lot of fun. And again, I find that it can really scale well again because you don't have to play with all the ingredients. So it's one that I feel that I can pull out with a variety of people, you know, ages, you know, my younger son. And so it's really accessible as well because of that. So Classic Quedlinburg, it's fun, push your luck, can be kind of raucous, but at the end of the day, you also still feel like you're making some meaningful decisions that blow up in your face sometimes, and those are very fun.
I'm amazed at how popular this game is still.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it's still
at the conventions and stuff. It's one of our top checked out.
It
like
is.
at every convention.
Like, it's going to be on my hot list because.
Right.
Yeah, it just is.
It is, yeah, because it's just, and I think it's just because it's just fun. You know, and again, if you feel like you're actually playing a real game, but yet you're just laughing at the whole time, you know. And we both had the Ink and Gold, you know, on our list, you know, which is another that push your luck, kind of gives you that same feeling, but this is just a little bit more depth, a little bit more decision space, a little more involved, and yeah, I think it's a lot of fun.
This is one of the most frustrating games I've ever played. I actually
Really?
don't like it that much.
Oh, I could see that. I could see you.
That seems interesting to me because it gives me like a
lukewarm about it,
Dominion engine building feel because you're building up that bag.
Yeah.
So I find it interesting that you don't like it.
I don't know.
You just
It's
don't like the feeling of being able to burst.
I don't know, and I love like we've talked about push your luck games,
Out
Ink
of
and Gold
context,
and
that's
stuff.
fantastic.
I mean, there's
Oh, really?
several push your luck games coming up here that I really love, and this one is, it resides in a weird world of very push your luck, but also, like, you have these strategic decisions that you're making, and I've never felt like I'm trying to make really, like, I'm trying to min-max these decisions and stuff, and it's just going to come down to I bust on my third draw.
I feel like
I don't know why I played.
I could see that because you feel like you put so
sometimes it
much
happens
strategy
each
into
round,
it just to
but
have it blow up.
it's so
in your
rewarding. It's so
But
rewarding when it doesn't, though.
Right.
It's like
It's
I
so
got
rewarding
this,
when
and this
someone
lets me do
else
this,
blows
and that
up,
does this.
Right? And you're like,
Well, I don't care. I'm more about trying to maximize my stuff. You're just trying to crush.
I'm
it.
just trying to
like
min
throwing
other
cherry
people.
bombs
Right.
in
I'm
people's
just like,
bags secretly.
where'd that come from? Whoops.
But I know I'm in the minority of this because, like you
Yeah.
said,
But I
there's
mean,
like
so
10
many people
tables
love
of
it.
I can
this
see,
at
I
every
can see that
convention.
being really, really frustrating, or you know, even lukewarm, like you said. But for me, again, maybe it is that nostalgic factor because I feel like I'm actually playing a game, you know, with my 9-year-old. So
It's fun.
anyway, yeah.
That does affect things.
It does.
It really does.
It does.
It really does.
But clearly many people love it. So you
Yeah.
don't have to feel like, oh, okay, I'm justifying this. Like, no, just
Oh no, I wasn't feeling bad
it's
at all. I feel
fantastically
very
fun
good
for a
about
lot of
myself. But thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
think
Considering my feelings.
I think it's really
I'm
good.
not.
I think I would play this game more, and I would probably own this game if I didn't feel like I had to buy the Geek Up bits to be able to play.
And you
it.
do, and that doubles the
they're
price
so
of it, but like you
cool,
do.
yeah.
I haven't played with the coin capsules though. I do wonder how they feel. I know
And
that's
Mike's
a
like,
more
they just keep talking
economic-
about it.
So anyway, really like Quacks of Quedlinburg, my 73.
All right. Well, my number 73 is a very pretty game on my list, and this is Mysterium. So this is a cooperative game where you are all trying to figure out who done it. It's basically like a cool version of Clue. I did like Clue growing up, but I like Mysterium even more. So what you're doing is, as the ghost, the person who has been murdered, you are giving people dreams, and they're these beautiful cards. They're very similar to Dixit, but I think that they're just a little bit more intricate, a little bit darker, and weirder. And you're trying to get people to guess who did it, with what, in what location. And it's a very cool game, and after everyone has kind of guessed their own version of that, then you do one final end of the game, who actually did it based on the 7 people we narrowed it down to. Boom. I love this because it goes to such a high player count. It's cooperative. It's just got a lot of things that work well with groups. To me, it is, once again, a party game that I feel like I can play and I can thoroughly enjoy. And I've even played it with way more than 7 people. You just put people on teams. You just say, okay, you 2, you're figuring out this person. You 2, you're figuring out this person. It works well with that too. So.
Yeah,
This is the chunk of our top 100 where we're like, and also we made these rules up.
Right, oh yeah, that is true. I think
That is
every
true.
one of us had like some house rule
House
thing. Yeah,
rules.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a good one. That's a good one. I think.
I like Mysterium a lot. I do like this one more than I like Dixit. I think it just kind of speaks to the way that I want to play like a party-ish game more.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I said earlier, I think Obscurio kind of replaced this one for me, but I do love this one a lot. I think this one, the theme is it's just so pretty, it's so rich.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I love
really
the
cool.
artwork. And was it Stella? Is that the game that we played with Dixit?
The Stella
and-
Dixit unit, yeah.
Yeah, the whole like combination. Yeah,
Right.
that was really
Yeah.
cool too. But yeah,
Very
so
nice.
that is my number 73,
Good pick.
Mysterium.
Awesome. My 73 is a game where humanity is all on spaceships and they're all frozen and it crashes into a planet and you are the AI trying to save those humans. This is Cryo. So you're all different AI with little drones trying to go around to these different worker placement spots to gain resources and eventually gain energy and be able to figure out ways to save the different humans that are kind of like in cryostasis pods and get them underground before the sun goes down because it will knock out all of your humans that you have. And it's kind of interesting because you're all different AI that are in charge of different groups of humans. So you're trying to figure out how to save yours, and then sometimes there'll be catastrophes that blow up all of the little cryostasis pods of the other players. I really enjoy this game. Lou Glory does a good job of like in worker placement games where you put a thing out and you get a thing, but then when you take them back, you also get something. So there's a little bit of engine building that you're kind of like setting up to try to build it. It's like, okay, well when I take my drone back now, I can turn this into this wild nanite resource that I can use to be able to gain more pods, and then I can put those on the space thing and get them down there. It has a lot of area control where the different underground spaces are worth points. The main way you gain points is by getting them on the your people on the different spaces. Like if they're further underground, they might be worth more points, and it's kind of interesting because you're trying to keep them separated a little bit or down there, whatever, I guess, to have room for all the different human pods. But I've had a blast with this game. I just really like the aesthetic of the game. I really like the way it plays, and being space doesn't hurt, you know. But I
think it's a
enjoy the
very
game a lot.
Euro space game.
It's a very Euro space game, but for some reason I like those medium weight style like Euro games, and if there's like this area control, this gives me a big feel of like Alien Frontiers a little bit, that sort of style game, but it's
Which I've
worker
never
placement.
played.
Yeah, you should play Alien Frontiers. I can teach it to
Okay.
you. Like it's really quick, but it's a fun game with area control in it that I enjoy a lot, and that is Cryo.
That's a
I like
really good pick.
the human battery thing where
Yeah.
you're like basically the Matrix.
I'm going to
Yeah.
save
gosh,
these
yeah.
humans, but in the meantime, if I can generate some energy from them before I save them, it's okay, guys. It's okay.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
I love it. It has a lot of fun little engine building, and it has multi-use cards, being able to use it for special ability, use it for
Yeah.
points, or use it to put people underground, you know.
This
A lot of
didn't
fun stuff.
quite make my top 100.
Yeah,
I really
it didn't
like
make
it.
my list, but
maybe
it
if I
is good.
play it more.
Yeah. This is one of the games that I've taught at conventions several times too, so I think that's helped push it up on my list, just playing it over
I can
again.
do that.
So. Awesome. Cryo.
We're at 72 now. It's time to go. It's time to go adventuring again. Let's go to the city of Gloomhaven. Specifically, I put Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion on here. I've played a lot of Gloomhaven, or I guess Wendy and I played a lot of it together, and then we've also played quite a bit of Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, and I don't know if I would go back to searching through the big box of tiles and be like, where's tile 17A4? You know, this map book thing. Oh, I want every adventure game in the future to have this map book type of thing, because I love
That's
it.
really good.
Camilla, this was on your list a few lists
Yes.
ago?
This is a
Or-
crossover already, yeah.
Yeah. The card system, fantastic.
Yes.
You're locked into these two cards, but even within that, there's flexibility. If your teammate like accidentally crushes a bad guy with like a critical hit, you're like,
Yeah.
I was gonna help you out with that, but I guess I'll do these other ones
Right,
instead.
uh-huh.
It's very fun. It's really good, and I know that it's on a lot of people's lists, and that's because it's really good.
Yeah.
So my number 72, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion.
I'm surprised it's so low on your list.
I like Gloomhaven a lot, but there's just so many other games that I would typically prefer to play. But I am excited every time we're like, ooh, it's Gloomhaven night.
Right,
You know?
and like,
Yeah.
oh, it lines up, we get to play again, right?
Yeah, but
for sure.
Yeah, 72 is still a great spot on these lists. You know, what can you say?
It is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have a crossover with you as well for my 72. I really hope it's you now that I've said that publicly. But my 72 is Micro Macro. Was that
Yes.
yours? Okay. Yes, my number 72 is a crossover with Chris. Micro Macro Crime City. This is so much fun. I first got this game when we were traveling, when we were moving, and needed something to play in the hotel room. And it's just a massive map, you know, and we would just put it out on the bed, and we would sit there and play through 2 or 3 things. I love this game. So there's not much more,
cool, yeah.
right? Yes, because you can just lay it out, and you're all sitting on the bed, staring over the map, and going through cards. It's so simple. It's so compact and accessible, but then interesting the entire time, because everyone's looking at the map. So I guess to go back, I should probably explain it. You're trying to solve a crime through the city, but as you said, it's not a capture a picture in time. It's throughout a whole day of the city. So you'll find one character and maybe need to track them backwards to see like, oh, okay, here he is dead. How did he die? Okay, well, before he was on the corner, and then he was up here, and oh, he is at home. Oh, look, there's this creepy person staring at him across the road. That's how he died. That person killed him. And so like you're tracking it through the day on this map, and it's really, really interesting, and I think it's led to some funny conversations as well, where you're like, later on, you remember a crime that you already solved, and so you're like, oh yeah, oh, and it's over here next to this guy who, oh, remember, yeah, he was stabbed, and so like the other ones come back into play, and so it just, as you play the same group, it's just a lot of really interesting moments that are created, and I really thought it was pretty innovative, that idea that you have this one static picture that you're looking at that's tracking through time, and you're having to trace back. I mean, for very little components, for very static materials, it just has a lot of interesting moments, So I haven't played the new one yet. I think you said you haven't either, right?
I haven't. It's not come through the office. Is it out, right?
I thought it had come through. I thought I just...
If Tom is hiding it from us,
Tom?
He's totally hiding it. He's got
we're
it at home.
Yeah.
gonna have
He is,
words
yeah.
like Tom and may I and
Please.
please
Those
and
sound
play
like
the
very
game.
micro words and very macro words. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I want to play this so bad.
You really should. It's really,
I literally
really
have it
good.
sitting right there to take home. So I'm.
was that
It
the
is
new
in the
version?
oh, no, that's the
It's
only
like, no,
there
it's the
it
old
is.
version.
The first one. The first
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
It's that one right there.
Right.
I'm gonna
I'm
play
really
it.
Yeah.
curious how
Let's play
they
it.
went about creating this.
Oh,
Like,
I
did they
know.
come with pictures first and then kind of write the storyline? Did they write storylines and then did they make a whole bunch of separate pictures and stick it all together? Like, I'm just really curious. How
crazy.
Right, yeah, I don't
whole planning
know.
and creation
I wonder if like
is-
one person, if they each had their own map and they kind of mapped out their own little, thing and then just put
Made
them
it
on
all fit
superimposed on top of each other.
and added a whole
there's our
bunch of
city.
random extra
Yeah.
stuff that you don't need. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So it's a lot of fun. It's good. So my number 72, Micro Macro Crime City.
I approve.
Thank you of this message.
All right, my number 72 is a crossover with Chris as well, but not Camilla this time, and that is New York 1901.
That makes us even better. No.
Chris wins the crossover race. So in this game, you've got these cool little polyomino buildings that you're trying to build in New York City, and you also are trying to meet certain objectives, like have the most on Broadway? I'm thinking of Monopoly. What street is it? Broadway?
Broadway is in New York City. Yes.
Okay, not Boardwalk.
no.
That's Monopoly. So you're trying to build. You're also trying to build extra large buildings, and so you're collecting spaces. So you flip over a card, and you can get 2 or 3 spaces in a colored region. And so if you claim that card and you put your worker down somewhere in that region, that's now your area. If you get enough of them, you can build a bigger building. Or you can go the route of building small buildings and then upgrading and demolishing them as you go. And so you're like, oh, I have a bunch of small buildings. I have high majority on this street. Do I want to give it that majority to get like a huge point building? Or do I want to keep the majority to keep those points? And it's got really cool decisions. It's got fun, puzzly polyominoes. Really cool. Love this game. And like Chris had mentioned, like his stepdad lived in New York, so it's fun to play with him because this is one of the few games we do play with him. So it's a good family game.
Vintage trade artwork doesn't hurt either. It's a good looking one.
Though the player pieces are like the worst colors ever. I don't know why they picked like a funky brown, a funky yellow, a funky green, and whatever the other color was. That's
Is
all.
it funky?
It's funky.
It's probably funky, yeah.
That's like my only negative of the
We
game. But
got
everything
the
else I love about it. I should just paint them. That would solve that
Well,
problem.
there you go.
I
Yeah.
would.
Are they plastic or wood?
They're plastic.
Oh yeah, definitely paint those.
Okay. Painting.
Done.
So that's my number 72 is New York 1901.
My 72, I think was on Chris's list earlier. This is a first-person shooter game, but feels very Euro, called Adrenaline. So this is like
need
you're
to play this.
pick up and delivering ammo as damage onto your opponent's life bar that you're area controlling. It's very strange how it's very Euro in that way, but it's also extremely tactical because you have all these different cool weapons that are going to have different damage patterns, and you're like, okay, they're standing close together. Maybe I can hit you, and hit you. So it has that a little bit of strange, like interesting Ameritrash feeling combat in it as well. So it's like, okay, I can do splash damage to these people, or oh, this one can shoot through a wall, but I have to be lined up just right. I have to be right here, now I can hit Chris, and that does a couple more points of damage to give me extra points when he actually passes away, you know, and as you kill somebody more. I know, it's really weird.
Died of natural causes and a railgun.
Exactly. It went through a wall, and it gave me just enough damage on him, but I didn't do the final blow, but I got the most points because I had hit him more, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, well,
it's
I
a
burned
very
him
interesting
to
game.
death, okay? So I got those points.
Everything you're saying, I love
and
this.
as the game like ramps up towards the end, it'll like turn to a frenzy mode where you can move faster and like shoot each other faster and things like that to kind of like ramp things up. There's all sorts of crazy stuff in this that it's a first-person shooter game, but it has extremely Euro mechanics, and I've just had a blast with it. It just is very interesting. It's a very unique game that I think a lot more people should try out because it's not what you would think when you say, oh, it's a first-person shooter game. It's not just that, you know.
One of my favorite things about it is that as you take more damage, as your little health bar like depletes, you get more adrenaline, the namesake of the game.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
your actions are stronger. I don't understand how more games can't figure this out, that as you take more damage, you should be stronger instead of like, oh, we're playing like a punchy game. Like, I took more damage. Now I can't use this action anymore.
That makes it hard, right?
It makes it worse.
Yeah.
So there's so many good decisions about this design and this theme and everything.
Did you
Yeah,
end up
that's
putting
right.
this on the Ketchup-Palooza?
It is
Okay,
definitely
good,
on the
because
list.
I want to play that one.
Someone pointed out, did all three of you just cross over with me on the
We
same
did.
number?
I would like to think of it as we all had crossovers this turn, because you crossed over with me as well.
Okay,
So
that's true.
this was, which is interesting, that every pick was a crossover.
Much
this round.
more.
Yeah.
Much
It just
more.
means
Three
you
of
need
them
to
with
put your
Chris,
games
but
higher, Chris. Because I'm sure there'll be plenty of crossovers across the whole thing, but you need to rate your games
but
higher.
in one
You know
round?
nothing.
Jon Snow,
Chris Yi, voice of the A-Team.
No.
72.
No.
Pigs in Space.
Adrenaline.
Pips.
Subtle call out.
Subtle. Speaking of subtle, I'm crossing over with Wendy right now. My number 71 is Rococo.
Ah.
This is a really great game. I enjoy everything Wendy talked about, right? The idea of it's sort of a deck building game, and it doesn't feel like a deck building game though, because what you're doing with your people is I don't know, it's just fun. It's more about kind of controlling spaces out on the map, getting really good outfits, dresses, and what would you call?
Clothing.
We always say dresses, but like
Garments?
Ye old men's wear as
Suits.
well back in the day.
Oh, what
you
would
know?
those be called?
The fancy tailored jackets and long
Jackets?
coats and stuff. But
Garb.
I like the resource management. I like the card play. I like the majorities and stuff. I love sending those people up to the top to watch the fireworks. Endgame points. But I debate, because there's this new deluxe printing, but the original printing was, I think, equally as good looking, just of a slightly older style. Michael Menzel's art
Okay.
was really good, a little more grounded, whereas this one with Tool stuff is a little bit more splashy. So
Which kind of fits like this era and this theme, and you know what I mean, like the splashy nature of it.
yeah, so
And it has metal coins, right?
it does.
And
I
loofahs.
reckon.
Loofah lace. The lace
The
looks like
little
loofahs.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's lace.
so not loofahs.
It's lace. It's not loofahs.
Buy a loofah, chop it up, and put it in the game.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, upgrades, Tom. I upgraded your
Yeah,
games with that
upgraded.
quality.
My underwater
my
games,
$1
Camilla.
loofah. What?
For all your underwater games.
Oh yeah, right.
Loofah.
Right.
All
right.
Good pick.
Yeah, Rococo is great. That's my number 71.
My number 71, I know, is a game that I think, well, okay, I know that I think, no, Tom's kind of a champion for this game in the Ryan Lockett series, whatever, is Islebound. I really, really enjoy this game and the decision space of it, and it's gorgeous, of course. So in this, you are the captain of a ship, and you are going around, and you're going to different ports to take different actions, but then also going to those different ports to try to get control over them. You're either using your diplomacy and trying to like negotiate your way with them, or you're going through and you're trying to just conquer them through murder. And well, that's how I think of it. But so you have this balance of these different ports that are worth different endgame points, but you are trying to go and take different actions in order to build up your diplomacy skill set on this sideboard, or you're going through and trying to build up your combat and recruiting different pirates in order to use in your combat with these ports that you're going to try and take over. And yeah, it's just, again, just like Ryan Lockett, it's gorgeous. It has really interesting decision space, you know, trying to go to different ports, kind of also what you talked before about, like that kind of pressure of, okay, this is the series that I need to go. I need to go here to get this, and here to go this, and here to go this. So you can have three turns planned out, but then someone else goes to that port and it messes everything up, and you're like, oh wait, no, now hold on, I'm too far away, and so I have to maximize my movement in order to do it, and what's that placeholder? And so again, just that decision space, but also a little bit of that making sure you have your timing right in order to take the actions when you need to. I really enjoy this, and I think it is always just very tense, but methodical at the same time. You have this method, you have this system laid out and what you need to do, and you're all set up for it, but then also have to have a little bit of that tactics as things sway and other people take your actions or maybe beat you to something and accomplish a goal first. You're like, oh, that throws everything off, and so you have to have that little bit of flexibility as well, and I just really appreciate that tension in this game and decision space. So my number 71 is Islebound. You've not played?
We gotta play more Ryan Lockett games.
You need to play more
We
Ryan
do.
Lockett
I feel like
games.
this was almost brought to you by Ryan Lockett.
I feel like, yeah, this is he is the pretty Euro.
Camilla's list was
designer.
brought to you by water today.
I thought about that. I think let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, quite a few. I do love water.
That's good stuff. My number 71 makes me feel so clever. Love this game. Gone Sean Clever. This is my other roll and write on my list today. So you can say maybe it comes with an asterisk. I still really like this one. Every die correlates with a color on your board, and this is all about moving up tracks and filling in spaces that then let you get more stuff. So the yellow areas, lots of points, you want to line things up, but if you fill in a column or a row, you get some sort of benefit that then helps you on another track. And then the blue also does the same thing of lines and columns, but you're doing everything ascending instead of matching numbers. And then green, you're trying to go 1 through 5 increasingly, and then you start over 1 through 5 increasingly. It's just like there's so many cool things that happen in all the different tracks, and I love the combination that, like, you getting close to the end and you're like, oh, I'm not sure how I'm doing, and then you just are set up perfectly, and so you fill in something in yellow that then gives you something in blue, and then blue fills in 2 rows, so now you get a thing in purple and a choice of any wild, and so then you fill in something else that then gives you more bonuses, and it's just like bonus after bonus after bonus after bonus, and I love it. It's so much fun. It's very rewarding.
I've never played this physically. I have played the app.
No, you
Like,
have. You taught it to me physically.
Did I teach it to you
You
physically?
taught it to me physically.
This is
It was
multiple
forgettable.
times you've been involved in games, because this happened to me. What in the 90s, one that we did? Not in the 90s. In the 90s. Back
We played back in the 90s. You totally forgot about
High
it.
school together.
When I was a teenager,
Yeah,
and
when
you
I was
were a
wearing my
wee
Jinko
man.
jeans and my baseball cap backwards.
Jinkos, Jinkos.
And you're playing Gone Sean Clever.
Okay, I have played this once physically, and I've pretty much said,
No,
just
I'm
play
pretty
the
sure
app."
we played it multiple times physically.
This is why you track games, people.
I'm out.
This is why you
That's all I
track
can
games.
say. 100%. No, but
Stats.
yes, the app on here is the way I've played it the most. Like, the app is just great. It does all the stuff for you, and you're just like, oh, these are my choices. I'm clicking here. Oh, where do I get to put it? Awesome. Make choices. Do things. You don't
choices.
You don't
Make
lose
choices.
anything. You don't forget anything with the app. Catches all those bonuses that you might miss. So that's my number 71 is Gone Sean Clever.
My number 71 is another area control game. I love area control games,
Yes,
but
you
this is
do.
basically like area control with what I would feel is sort of like Ticket to Ride, collecting stuff, and this is Ethnos. I know Chris loves Ethnos. Ethnos is a game with, it's very fantasy themed, and you're collecting all these different fantasy races, and you're trying to collect sets of them to be able to put them out on the board and control different areas. Basically, the character that you put on the top basically is the special power you're going to use, and you have to have a certain number of them to be able to stack higher and higher as things go along. You're going to get points based off of the different areas at the end of each round, but it's cool, all the different powers that you have that can trigger different ways, and each time you play this game, you're going to play with different fantasy races, so you have have different special powers in play. You're trying to either collect a set of the same fantasy race or the same of the same color. You're trying to figure out how to maximize those things to be able to control those different areas on the board. It's actually an extremely simple game, and the turns are extremely quick because it's either, hey, you're drafting a character, or hey, you're playing out your characters, or hey, you're putting stuff on the board. You know, well, actually, that's the only two things, right? You're taking cards or you're putting cards out.
Yeah.
Have you played
That's
this
it.
one?
That's
I
it.
have, yeah.
Do you
It's
like
really,
it?
really simple.
I'm cool with it. Like, I'll definitely play it.
Mediocre?
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm lukewarm. I'll definitely play it, you know, but area control's not my favorite.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's one of those like, yeah, I could take it or leave it, but if someone's playing, I will not say no.
Area Control's not my favorite, but I really like this game.
Yeah.
I enjoy the card play and the collection of
And
it.
I love how fast it is.
That's what I love
that
so
it's just
much.
go,
Plays
go,
with a
go.
lot of players,
right.
too.
That's what
Yes.
really brings us up for me is just the speed of play. I love games where
Yes.
it's like you have a really, really short turn, and it's like next person, next person, next person, next person.
Right.
It just keeps going, and Ticket to Ride has the same sort of feel. This feels like that, but area controls as you're taking over stuff,
Right.
vying for those different areas on the board.
Yeah.
When you manage to keep every turn actually short, right?
Yes.
Because even when you play and put something out and get a bonus, it's that quick. So the next person,
Can
you know,
go
can
ahead,
still
yeah.
just go. There's too many games where like quick, and someone goes, okay, hold on.
And then we forget whose
Sorry,
turn
I've
it
got this
is.
5-minute long turn here where I'm gonna.
Right, yeah.
But no, every turn is just lightning
It
fast.
really is.
Great pick, Roy.
But yeah,
Yeah.
71
Great
Ethnos.
All right, nice job.
Way to end it.
Lots of
End it on a high
crossover
note.
today.
Yeah.
Lots of crossovers. So
There will only be more as we continue.
Playing
I'm sure,
nicely in the
I'm sure.
sandbox with each other.
yeah, for today. Let's see. Hopefully,
But tomorrow,
more.
Camilla's throwing sand in Roy's eyes.
Ah, my eyes.
I think she would throw it not in Roy's eyes.
Tomorrow.
They would have the most crossover.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Tomorrow's also not a very bloody day for me on my list, but another pretty day tomorrow. But that being said, join us back tomorrow for the next in this. So today, I don't even know what number we went through. So tomorrow will be what, 61 through 70. Tomorrow at noon. Join us back. And until then, I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
I'm Chris Yi.
I'm Roy Cannaday.
See you.
I'm Wendy Yi, and Camilla, all the water washed away that blood. That's what happened today.
Yeah, it'll come back though.
You
Just
know.
Control
diluted. Diluted
Diluted.
list.
areas.
More death. See you tomorrow.